I thought it was last Saturday.
Good morning, everyone. Brad Roltgen here with the Fresno Bitcoin and cryptocurrency investors. Today, we're kind of continuing the conversation we've had a few months ago and a few months ago prior to that about this whole price roller coaster going up and down with Bitcoin as well as a lot of the other coins and tokens. Um, so I'll just get started that for myself. I had stopped, must have been 2 months ago. I had stopped automatically purchasing Bitcoin every 2 weeks. I don't know, I was kind of getting the feeling that maybe things were going to go down a little farther, and I'm like, maybe let me just hold off on this, and if it does go down into I think we were still in the mid 60s at that point and it looked like it was going down. And I'm like, yeah, I can just hold off a little bit and gets down into the 50s and bottoms, hopefully bottoms out or whatever, then I jump in. But this week I did restart those automatic purchases that I do, kind of when I get my paycheck, takes out a little bit, that kind of thing, and keeps buying every couple of weeks. So at least in my mind, I'm thinking we're not going to go down much more. The way that I use river.com to do those automatic purchases every 2 weeks, and they have a feature called turbocharge, where if the price is actually down, then you can buy more.
Yes.
So, and I do have that turned on. You can select how much more. I think it's like 25, 50, 75, or 100%. And I chose 50%. So for example, if I'm doing $100 every 2 weeks and then the price is down on the week that I'm buying, I don't know exactly if it's down compared to the last week or the last 24 hours, or I don't know what the criteria is for, quote unquote down. But anyway, then instead of buying $100 that week, I would buy $150, you know, kind of helping with the dollar cost averaging theory. So we'll see what happens, but I at least, in my mind, I'm thinking we've hit bottom or close to bottom. And so I said, let me jump back in. I don't want to look back in 6 months or something and go, oh, look at that whole, 60 to $70,000 range that I missed. I could have been buying every couple of weeks, when we're at
Yes.
80 to 90, kind of thing. So that's kind of where I'm at. What are your guys' thoughts on where the price level is?
Actually, kind of nice because it's sitting at 65.
Yeah, let me pull up a chart here just so we can look and see. Um, the year, not all time, sorry, for the year. And these little green things are all these news stories that CoinMarketCap has links to. But yeah, so it's like we kind of went down. We're down for a while and went down, or at that we were at that level for a while here. This is like November to January, and we took another step down. And what was this? Yeah, February. It's about 2 months. We started creeping back up, and then we
Well,
dropped.
it looks like a lot of consolidation.
Yeah, I'm just hoping, when we took these steps down, each time we kind of went further, but it looks like maybe we've hit a bottom here. I guess we'll have to see because what are we at here, the time period? June. Oh yeah, just about another 2 months. So it seems like we're due for either an increase like we did here back at the end of May or April,
I
or
just let it fucking rip.
that's the thing, yeah. Because I don't go in and trade this stuff. I'm not trading. I was just
I've had to
trying
turn
to.
around and sell just like, $25. And uh, I
Mm.
got a new debit card from my credit union and I went to go buy something the other night and it wouldn't go through. And
Huh.
I'm just like, oh man, come on, not really. And there's, line full of people behind me, and I'm like, all right, screw it. I'm gonna go spend a teeny bit of Bitcoin, converted $25.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause other, it's like that, or I get on the phone and sit there and try to reach out to my credit union. Yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So you, I think Tim, you're like me where we're gonna let it ride anyway. My only thing that I changed the actions that I was taking was I held off on purchasing, but this is to me it's still long term. So I'm not
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sell
I'm not
next
selling a
March.
whole lot.
Hmm.
I got that one of the software programs I wrote. I have an investor that's ready to throw down big time. And so it's kind of like, hey, whatever it takes to get me through this little
The lull.
pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Susan, what do you think? I know you're keep up with a lot of this financial news beyond just crypto.
Yeah.
What are your
Um,
feelings?
it's very, very interesting. This how it's the news, the price seems to reflect the news coverage. And right now there are very few stories. And you've heard the saying like buy the news and sell the
Buy the rumors, sell
Tell
the
the hype.
news.
yeah, there you go. Buy the
Okay.
rumor, sell yeah.
Yeah.
So that I think that's kind of what happened. And it was very so much it was every show a segment on it and kind of repeat and repeat. But
It
now
was
there's
funny because Kramer said he was selling all of his.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody's like, okay, that's good news for Bitcoin then.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If he's getting out, then it's ready to fly
Yeah, yeah. And like
because
we've
he
talked
always
about,
does the wrong thing.
So was that recently, Tim?
yeah,
Yeah.
this last week or so.
Okay, so that he's the one. I couldn't remember. He's the one talking that was talking to the IBM CEO.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's the CEO that said that the uh, Bitcoin will be no longer in 3 to 5 years. And Kramer said, "Wow," and you could tell he was really caught off guard. So he acted on that. That's very interesting.
I think he's paranoid because of the whole wallet hacks.
Yeah, that doesn't help confidence for sure.
No, no.
Um,
Well, I don't, yeah.
and
For
that's why it's good to have the open source wallet software so there's a bunch of eyes looking at the software as opposed to
Yeah.
just the team of 20 guys or whatever, at the company.
Well,
yeah.
they may, I don't know the audit status of what they did with that wallet. Uh, did they have it audited at some point?
Yeah, I don't know. What is it? Was it cold stream or cold wallet or cold?
Cold, they just, I, my understanding, it's a cold wallet called Cold Wallet.
I thought there's another name like cold stream or cold. Yeah, let me see if
I
I can
thought I
find
had
it.
heard something like Coin Kite, or I don't, who knows?
Yeah. Um,
But I'm I'm all about open source for everything possible.
right.
And I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah, I was
don't think you will ever meet anybody who's more into open source than I am.
yeah. Yeah, it was called cold card. Just
Yeah.
cold card, like one word on that. Now, yeah, Susan and I were talking a little bit before we started the recording on that the quant thing with that IBM guy was mentioning. Tim, don't you think that on the other side of the battle, so to speak, because obviously they're trying to hack and figure out all the private keys so they can go in and move the funds to their own wallet type of thing. But don't you think
The,
the blockchains are going to get stronger, with the same quant computing power?
Well, define quant. I mean, if by quant you mean quantum,
Yes.
Right, right,
Yes.
you know, SHA-256, which is the cipher that is used. Um, this
right.
was a long, long, long time ago. But there was and sadly, he's passed away, a guy named Dan Kaminsky that used to do uh, all these crazy hacks. He was doing stuff over DNS. Uh, and he was cheating SHA-256. There's something called DNS-sec that allows you to do encrypted DNS files.
Okay.
And, in theory, if you take any file and you generate the SHA-256 on it, you go in and you find one of the periods and you change it to a comma, it makes it go through and generate a completely different hash number.
Right,
And
which it should. Yeah.
he had gone through and found ways to cheat it.
What do you mean by
Where,
cheat?
well, like, this isn't exactly what he was doing, but like as an example, he would go in to a zone file, is what they call them, and go X number of characters in and then change that character. But it was basically kind of, he was using all the characters in the file as an index. And he found some crazy ass way that if he went X number of characters in and changed that one, that he could basically make it throw the same hash.
Oh, even with
Even though
different input.
he, yeah, I mean, if you understand how the whole SHA system works, basically you take and you feed a file into this SHA-256 function, and it generates like a string that's 24 to 32. I forget. I think it's 32 characters long, and it looks pretty damn random. Numbers and letters,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and that's the key.
And that is your hash.
Right. Okay.
But if he went in and he just went X number of characters into the file and changed just that character, when he went back to take and generate the SHA-256, it wouldn't change.
The hash was the same.
The hash was the same.
Okay.
He was
Interesting.
a genius dude. He used to take and do these presentations all the time at DEF CON. And he did a thing called the TCP/IP drinking game.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Let's not get too off
I
track.
know, you know
I
how I am.
yeah, yeah, and I like some of it because we were that's what we were talking about earlier as far as that.
But this is stuff that he was doing like 15 years ago.
Right, right. But I mean, isn't there going to be a better encryption? I mean, aren't don't some banks use like 200 and 2048 bit
Well,
encryption?
there's stuff that uses 2048, 1024, 512.
Right.
That really just tells you kind of how big the key is going to be. It does
Right.
not necessarily tell you how the cipher works. Most of those, that's the key length, but the the way the cipher works is this SHA.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can generate whatever length you want. It's still under the hood using this SHA crypto.
The cryptography part of
algorithm.
it. Yeah. So so the concern is that the quantum computers are going to have enough power regardless of the hash length?
The bottom line is with a quantum computer, with a regular computer, what it's the way they would crack that is doing something they call reverse cryptography, where they go backwards to figure out what the original file was, knowing what the hash is.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
But, but they're still all of the same family. There's only not that many cryptographic algorithms out there. At one point, I
Right.
was following this all the time because I was setting up web servers, mail servers, and SSL certificates,
Yeah, all that
and
good stuff. Right, right.
I kind of don't mess with that so much anymore. But it was kind of crazy because at that time, I do remember I was watching all of these different cryptographic systems get cracked. And all of a sudden, it's like, ah, shit, I got to go back into this web server and generate a different key because that cryptographic algorithm has been broken.
Okay.
And so it was getting to where it was like, I remember at one point, there was only like three or four cryptographic algorithms out there. I have no idea. I haven't followed none of that stuff in 15 years.
Yeah. Okay. So
Um,
getting back to the question
but
though,
the quantum is different. It does not do this sequential kind of processing. It literally takes and is looking at the spin of the electrons and what they call quarks. And so beauty up, down, I forget. There's like I 10, I think, different spin mechanisms that these electrons can have, and they can be in any or all states at the same time. And so you're not looking, it's capable of just jumping straight to the answer and bypassing what they say, oh, it would take it like 32 years on a super powerful supercomputer to crack that key. Not when you get to quantum processors, though.
okay, okay. But if we are at that point where the quantum processes are used, they're not just like a dream or, being used in a lab or something once in a while, then what about just like our regular passwords to log into Bank of America or
Well,
whatever?
you know what, that's what I've been saying. If there's the way that they got into these wallets, supposedly, is they went through and they took and they found how these seed phrases were being generated. And then once they found some like little kind of inherent weakness where just, it's like if they'd just done this one extra step, it'd have been more secure. But they
Yeah.
didn't. And so and so that coupled with basically throwing some AI brute force compute behind it, they were able to go through and take and figure out what the seed phrases for all of these things were.
Okay.
Hey, wait, when the hell are they just going to go crack Visa?
Right. That's my point, is that, the blockchains are
Because
not the
they
only,
recycle these numbers for the credit cards. They don't
oh,
ever retire those.
I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of numbers. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. I just got done having fraud done on my debit card.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it's still all right. So, so I guess just the basic question is if they're doing that on the blockchains, are they going to be able to do that on my Bank of America account?
Hell yeah.
Okay. So if that's
I
the
can't
case,
believe it hasn't been done already.
right,
Because you
right,
got to
right. So
realize
if that's the case, whether it's blockchain, because it's like blockchain is getting a black eye because oh, quantum's going to be able to do this. Well, what about everything else? Or even just logging into my,
the bottom
Yahoo
line,
email account
the,
or whatever,
the,
Gmail.
So
if
I did a Gemini query and I said, how will quantum impact Bitcoin? And it says quantum computing poses a theoretical but significant long-term challenge to Bitcoin. And then it
yeah,
goes on and on and on. Okay, so then it says breaking digital signatures is the main threat. So, but I want to go down just to read the bottom. How Bitcoin can defend itself. Community consensus says
their algorithms, they're
long
Yeah.
be
Oh,
quantum proof.
yeah,
okay. Tim,
long
let
before
her go through because she's on the other end of the spectrum from you. So I want to kind of get
Okay.
both
so
sides.
long before quantum computers reach the scale required to break ECDSA, the Bitcoin network would be heavily incentivized to upgrade its code. Users would be forced to migrate their funds to quantum safe address types, much like the network has executed previous protocol upgrades and soft forks throughout its history. And that's
Well,
what the banks are doing. They're like, you know, every time the threat changes, they
Upgrade.
respond.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
yeah,
upgrade.
but the thing is go look. How how big is the PIN number on your bank account?
Right. Oh God, yeah.
What?
And I had an app and it like expired because they did so many upgrades.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
so
it's secured with a four-digit PIN.
oh mine's 14 digits.
Well, your
No,
PIN, like when
that's
you
the
go
card
to an
number
ATM.
itself.
Oh, the pin no, the pin number's 4. Yeah, no, that's my
Yeah,
password
that's the
has to be.
weak link.
Yeah, yeah, because
Okay, that I see. Yeah.
and I don't know if our brains could handle much more. I mean, I
I
think
know
some
it.
that are
I
like maybe six. Obviously we can remember a 7-digit phone number, most of us.
right. Oh,
But like a 16-digit PIN, that's even 10, I think that's going to be a
right,
challenge.
right.
So, I mean, the point is that
What they'll
it's an
do is they'll
ongoing
turn,
battle.
which won't be secure either, but what they'll end up doing, the first step will be to take and actually lock them via biometric.
Yeah, that seems like that's a better path for a
Not
lot of
so
security.
much. There's ways around that too.
But it's got to
So
be
I mean,
harder than a 4-digit PIN.
yeah.
Well, yeah, you get one of them little spinner wheels like from the lottery system, and you could probably take and crack the four-digit pins.
Right, right.
9,999
Yeah,
variations.
that's
That's
not
it.
that much. Right, right, right.
And then what's a three-digit CVV number?
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
Well, are there people working to upgrade the code for Bitcoin?
Oh, constantly.
Okay.
There there
Okay.
is a lot of talk about it, specifically because of Satoshi's wallet. Because there's a
Mm,
million Bitcoin in his wallet, and those are in the very first addressing system that Bitcoin was using way back when.
So
And
that's
so they've had a
yeah.
lot of conversations about should we just, basically mark those as non-recoverable? Uh, or, should we upgrade the blockchain, the addressing system, the, and it's like It's a game of spy versus spy.
Exactly. And that's going to be that way on blockchain, Visa, security, and all this
I mean,
I
other
just,
probably,
stuff.
you ever
yeah,
see Mr. Robot?
Uh-uh.
no.
There's a TV series called Mr. Robot, and the one guy that's in there, I can't think, Remy something, uh, he basically is all high on drugs. His dad is dead, but he sees him all the time. And him and this little group basically go in, and there's a corporation that conveniently is called Evil Corp, and they run the whole financial system, and
Oh
they destroy,
God.
they take it over, they crash it.
Yeah.
It's a good show. It's a good show. People
Yeah.
lose people lose their minds, but you know what? The bottom line is, okay, well, we all know our banking system is 100% secure, and it's couldn't be backed by anything more solid than what it's backed with, which might as well be a frickin' Tootsie Roll.
Yeah. Well, I feel much better after having read this. I and it says developers are already researching and discussing implementation paths such as BIP proposals to
Yeah, well, they're all
transition.
called BIPs, Bitcoin
Yeah,
Improvement Protocol.
yeah, to transition Bitcoin to quantum resistant signature schemes,
Yeah.
lattice-based, stateful, hash-based signatures, or multivariate cryptography. So
Yeah,
yeah,
there's things like ZK hash and stuff
yeah,
like that. ZK just stands for zero knowledge. And
yeah.
that the
Okay, I
thing that's
think,
going to make them have to do it isn't as much about the actual quantum computers coming out and being such a threat. It's more because of the fact of what happens. Because look, they just managed to crack all these wallets. Hey, why don't you go after Satoshi's? Because that's only from what, 2009?
well, who's they, first of all? Who's
Well,
they are cracking the wallets?
how
Like,
deep down the rabbit hole you want to go?
Yeah, let's not let's keep it simple
okay,
here. Let's try to come up
yes.
with an answer if somebody asks us at the pizza meeting in 2 weeks or something, if they say, "What do you think about quantum computers hacking Bitcoin?" What would the answer be? Let's come up with like a good 1 or 2 sentence answer.
Hmm. It depends on, in my mind, the people, the incentivized people to make that happen. And hopefully they've got wallets, so they're incentivized to upgrade the code. But
Yeah, everybody's freaking out and going like, "Oh, do I need to go to a multi-sig wallet?"
Yeah, what about it something like, there's Bitcoin coders working on improving the blockchain and improving the security, just like there's always a battle like virus
yes,
coders
yes,
and antivirus coders going back and forth.
yes,
Would that be fair?
yes.
Are you
Something
asking
like that.
me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking for an answer that would answer the question from somebody just off the street. That's not, technically savvy, and they've been hearing this, and it's like, well, wait, I'm hearing this. Does that mean Bitcoin, is literally going away in 3 or 4 years?
No.
Okay,
But in terms of security, look what these AI things are, accomplishing each week. It
right.
is insane. I mean, I follow it and I can't keep up. When what they called Glasswing, when Mythos came out, which was uh, Claude Code 5, basically, they turned around and managed in the course of 2 weeks to generate something like, uh, I want to say it was like 2,000, what they call CVEs, basically in the Linux kernel, which is considered to be one of the more secure systems out there. BSD's another in super secure operating system, and they found stuff in that that was like 14 years old. When they released that, they turned around and they gave that to like Amazon, Google, Apple, all of these large corporations going, you got 3 weeks, get her done, because at some point this is coming out and then all your stuff is sitting there on the fence waiting to be picked off.
Yeah.
And they literally turned around the one guy that was working for he's one of the senior people with the US government for all the intelligence agencies. He basically came in and said, we turned around and got into all the systems for all of the intelligence agencies. And it only took a couple hours.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
So my statement would be coming soon to a theater near you.
okay. Okay. Let's veer back to the price roller coaster that we're on. Any more thoughts on that?
It's just ready for it to rip.
I think that the quant um, is definitely an undertone, an
Okay.
overtone holding the price down.
Okay. And Susan, you mentioned that the you thought the price was news based, just in
Yes,
general,
it's
which is kind of
nobody's. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
like the stock market is a lot of times. And I think Bitcoin has moved to that standpoint as it used to be like an outlier. Now it's part of the financial system in
Yes,
that it reacts to the news and that kind of thing. Because look how many ETFs are out there, and then all these other ones that are doing futures and whatever. So it has become part of the financial system. So it
yes,
makes sense
yes.
for that to happen. But based on that, the theory that it's based on the news, what news is holding it down, or what news is it waiting
Yeah, no
for?
news. Nobody's talking about Bitcoin
Oh,
except
yeah,
for
they
that
are.
one, not on CNBC.
Well,
Yeah, let
The
her
people,
finish, because I think this is going to match up with what we've talked about a little bit in the past. Keep going on the CNBC.
okay, so it's I think of 3D printers. When people were so excited about 3D printers, it was all in on every segment. And the stocks were just ripping higher. There was a euphoria, momentum, and they're just speaking about it, excited people. Well, nobody is talking about Bitcoin except this recent interview. I guess it was Kramer. I couldn't even remember that part, with the CEO of IBM. And the guy says, but he's kind of talking his book. He doesn't own any Bitcoin. So that's even suspicious. So you have to be really analytical when you're reading this, hearing this stuff. But there's no news. No one's, all they talk about is Michael Saylor. And then the strategy sold some Bitcoin. So everybody's like, so the news is negative if there is news. So there was one story that talked about how the strategy is selling Bitcoin, but they have to because of their company business model,
Yeah,
and
they
they
have to
are
pay
paying a
dividends.
dividend. Yes. And then Michael Saylor had to come on with through a recorded interview saying, I personally have sold no Bitcoin, and I stand by that. So it used to be strategy selling no Bitcoin. Now it's they've changed all that. So that's the big news in my mind. But nobody there was no further conversation. It was not in any that was an isolated interview. And in the old days, that interview would have been rebroadcast every single segment.
Mm, okay. So kind of going along with that, what you're seeing on CNBC and maybe some of the other networks or, whatever, would you kind of say the hot money now is talking about the uh, data centers and AI and that kind
Yes,
of area?
yes, yes. That's the whole focus. Yes, that's exactly right. And
Okay.
the power companies, it's just the excitement of the day and fear. Bitcoin used to cause much fear and anxiety among normal people
Yeah,
as
they call that FUD.
they fed yeah, the news fed on that. Well, the fear is quieting down. So they had to move on to something else that was more fearful. And that's the data centers. You're exactly right.
Yeah, kind of everything that's within that AI ecosystem, the data centers is one way to invest in AI. There's obviously the companies, but then also the infrastructure and that kind of.
Yeah. And now the frontier companies doing the hacking, and it's like they fall all over themselves trying to be the one that hacks the most and
Yeah, I was
just
reading something on that when they said, "Oh, our agent, broke out of the sandbox or the
Hugging
whatever."
Face.
Yeah, and it was like that was
many.
something they were trying to use to cause fear because ours is so powerful it broke out, and then
Yes,
then somebody else
yes.
had to ours broke out too, but
Yeah,
did it
yeah, ours did
twice.
too. And then someone said, "Well, we did that 3 months ago, 4 months ago." So they're like just trying to
Yeah, but
run.
the way they set it up to happen.
No, I know, but it's causing fear. So people aren't afraid of Bitcoin
That,
anymore.
yeah, but
It's
that's
got
just media.
I know, but that impacts the price. It's not in the news. So if someone says, "Okay, I just got $1,000, what am I going to do with it?" It's what's front and center in the news is what you do with it.
I would say go turn around and buy into power plants
Yeah, but not
because
see
we are
that
running an electron shortage.
right. And a memory shortage. So that you have Micron. But so
Yeah,
everybody's talking about all that and nobody is talking about Bitcoin. Nobody.
Okay, so it's not the hot thing, it's not the shiny object that people were chasing for 18 months or whatever time period.
Right. Or curious. There's no curiosity.
Hmm.
Right. And I don't, and it's very possible that Trump spoiled that to some extent
no.
No, what do you mean by spoiled?
with the public, with people like me, with his like taking advantage in our I'm not saying this is my opinion, but it's what I see, what I hear when people talk, like they'll say he's made $2 billion this year, and they'll like they'll disparage him, and it's associated with negatively with Bitcoin. So it's the news. There's just no momentum. There is zero momentum. And you have to have momentum to break out of a
It's not
consolid
momentum, it's
cons,
liquidity.
consol
And all the liquidity's been sucked out because it's being drained into AI.
Exactly. Right. And because AI is
yes.
the hot thing.
And the reason why he is so into Bitcoin, The dude's a billionaire, and all the banks turn around and debanked him just a couple
Right.
years ago.
Right. Well, one bank,
Every
Capital
one of
One.
them.
Well, it was I think it was one bank.
No,
Okay, okay,
Okay.
we don't
That's
need to get into
irrelevant.
the weeds on that.
Yeah.
So I
it's
think
not
we're all in.
irrelevant. That's why he became so crypto over the top. That's what forced him to adopt and see crypto in a very different light. That made him a true believer.
Okay, and that's
Well, I
yeah.
just wish he was paying the contractor working on the reflecting pool with Bitcoin.
There you go.
He has a lot more money in Ethereum than he does in Bitcoin,
Well, I
actually.
mean, whatever, but more of
Yeah,
an up
I know.
yours
Well, I
response.
think, yeah, what he needs to do, I think a lot of what, you know, the politicians that are behind crypto, what they need to do, as they say, you want to show support with something, pull your wallet out, turn around and actually show the industry the power of, crypto.
Yeah. Yeah. So to your point about data centers, when they do talk about crypto and data centers, they talk about how great it is that these crypto miners can now just switch to data centers. So that's the conversation.
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
the miners can switch to processing AI as opposed to
Yes,
processing
yes,
Bitcoin
yes. And it's
transactions?
more profitable. So it's like, everybody's, it's just like how it's the wave. It's the way the wave is crashing or not.
it's
It's
just
yeah, I
when
don't
when crypto came out, it was the fastest kid on the block. It changed everything.
and it
When
someday may
AI came out,
yeah.
though, it blew the doors off of how fast crypto was adopted. We have never, ever in the history of the world seen any technology adopted as fast and as deeply as what happened
Because it's
with
so
AI.
lucrative. They have it's if companies don't adopt it, they're left in the dust.
It's a disruptive technology.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. But it's that's is definitely impacting Bitcoin and the price.
100%. It drained all the liquidity out of the market.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the wind that was in the sails of crypto, it's
Yeah, it's come out. Okay, so I think we're on the same page there. So
Those things, yeah, but things cycle. So do you think
right,
there's
right. So what is it going to take for that to the momentum to come back or the more wind in the sails to occur, that kind of thing?
yeah.
Do we
that's
need
a
like
tough
more
call.
like Tim, you mentioned like, getting your wallet out and using, are we going to have to use the Lightning Network at Starbucks? That kind of
You
thing.
know what? The bottom line is it it would not hurt the market. I wouldn't go buy a car or a house with it, but to turn around and go take and find local places that, like, there's a place called I want to say it's called the Meat Shack or something like that. It's
Oh, no, the meetup.
is it the meetup? Yeah.
Uh-huh. That they take
Over off
Bitcoin.
of Herndon.
There's one at Marks and Herndon, and then there's a new one opened
Yeah.
at Shepherd and Willow.
Yeah. They take Bitcoin. Go in and buy a sandwich.
Yeah, the guy, well, the owner has come to he's a friend of Eric's, and he's come to our pizza things a couple times.
Oh, I've not met him yet.
Yeah, so he came up,
God,
yeah,
I've
and
only
so
missed like two of them, I think.
yeah, so I love that place. I mean, if you guys haven't been there, definitely try it. Their sandwiches are just out of this world, just because it's all about the meat, and that's what their thing is. It's just, they're just good. Just try it. Whether you use
What's
Bitcoin or not to do it, but yeah, and I
what's
haven't
the
done Bitcoin yet, but it's a great place to eat.
what's the name of it?
The Meat Up,
And it's spelled MEAT.
correct.
Okay. Okay. Fun.
And they have different each day they have a certain sandwich that's on special. And so like you can only get a Philly cheesesteak on Thursdays. And then they have a
Uh,
different one but they always have a tri-tip sandwich. You can get any time. And then you can, it's like a butcher shop. And so you can go in there and you can get a half a pound of pastrami and whatever. So definitely try it. And
yummy.
and
Okay.
and the prices are reasonable for the sandwiches, like $13 for a half and 16, 17 for a full sandwich, depending on the meat. It's a little bit different, but it's reasonably priced for what you get. It's outstanding.
Okay.
So cool. So my back to my question is, what is it going to take to get this momentum back?
So what has it taken before? Because this isn't Bitcoin's first roller coaster.
Right.
So,
So is it when the next halvening happens, or
and that's the thing too. So is that's becoming less and less.
that's what I think, because it's more you know, part of our financial system. So then I think that's why it's susceptible to the news and that kind of thing. Um, but what is it? I thought we would see it really, I mean, it did take off, but I thought it would take off and keep going once the ETFs came out. And then as more and more people jumped into the ETFs because it was easy, literally you could just say, okay, Mr. Schwab advisor or whatever, let me put 1% of my portfolio into Bitcoin. Some people
Yes.
might do two. I mean, I'm not even talking 10%. It's just 1%, half a percent, whatever. But if, the entire country did that, Katie bar the doors, the price would have to, skyrocket. But that doesn't seem to have happened.
No. And now there's SpaceX, which is the new shiny
Another
object.
shiny object. Right, right. So if Bitcoin's not going to become the shiny object, don't or some other crypto. I mean, it seems like there's people using Ethereum for all these, things, um, smart contracts and all this. It seems like we've kind of had the big discoveries. I don't know if there would be like an aha moment, like, oh, now we can do this. I don't know what the this would be for it to, gain some of that focus back.
I think another part of the competition is the foreign governments buying gold. And that's
Yeah,
so
gold is definitely a competitor. Yeah. Yeah.
and Costco is selling the gold.
Right.
And
Yeah. So that makes it that much easier. Yeah. Yeah. Because most people don't know of a gold or a silver dealer. They're like, well, if I had 10,000 bucks, I wanted to go buy gold, where would I go? But they know Costco. So that's made it easy
yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Um, okay. Huh. Well, I was
Yeah,
hoping we'd come up with when this happens and then we wait for that to happen on September 17th or whatever.
like a catalyst. So
Right.
let me do that query. So what catalysts will push the price. Should I say Bitcoin or cryptocurrency?
Maybe Bitcoin just to keep it simpler.
High. What catalysts will push the price of Bitcoin higher? Several key macroeconomic, structural, and regulatory catalysts historically drive and will continue to drive Bitcoin's price higher because it functions as both a speculative asset and macro hedge. Its upward price movements are usually triggered by liquidity shifts, institutional adoption, structural supply dynamics, and then microeconomic shifts in liquidity expansion, lower interest rates, and monetary easing. It's highly sensitive to global liquidity and currency debasement, inflation and currency hedging. So if there's high inflation,
Wait, go back a second to the sentence that had the currency debasement. Read that one again.
Bitcoin is highly sensitive to global liquidity and fiat. Sorry, I left that word out.
Okay.
And fiat currency debasement.
That one's always been a big one for me, as a potential. That's interesting, that they're even mentioning that. And maybe can you follow up on, like, do a follow-up question? Say
Yes,
which
yes.
currency debasements in the past have had, if they reference country A, country B kind of thing.
Okay, yes. Um, so so sometimes it will, okay, I'll s s oh. So which countries?
Yeah, basically asking about which currencies have been debased in the past 10 years or 20 years or something like that.
Okay. The history of currency debasement spans thousands of years, while fiat currency strictly refers to modern unbacked money declared as legal tender. Several prominent historical examples illustrate how currency debasement has unfolded. Classical and pre-modern economics, commodity to fiat hybrid debasement, the Roman denarius, Tudor England's Great Debasement, 1544 to 1551, China's Song Dynasty in the 11th century, modern, Weimar Germany,
Weimar,
19,
that's the big one, yeah.
Weimar 1921 to 23, burdened by World War I, Zimbabwe dollar 2000 to 2008, driven by severe economic mismanagement, etc. Venezuelan bolivar 2010s to present, a combination of plunging oil revenues, political corruption, monetary expansion, and then gradual debasement. Even stable modern reserve currencies such as the US dollar, British pound, and the euro undergo a slow, continuous form of structural debasement because central banks can expand the money supply via quantitative easing, low interest rates, or deficit monetization. To manage economic shocks, these fiat currencies steadily lose purchasing power over decades. While they really rarely collapse into hyperinflation like Zimbabwe or Germany, cumulative, cumulative, cumulative,
There we
oh,
go.
sorry,
I was trying to figure,
cumulative,
I knew what you were trying to say, but I'm like, how do we pronounce?
yeah, cumulative, inflation means a dollar today purchases a fraction of what it did when major fiat float regimes were established in the 70s.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's a good. I mean, they went from all the way, 500 years ago or what, in the 1500s, up to the Venezuela and all that Zimbabwe ones. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, that last one that you read there, the whole thing,
Yeah.
that's something every high school student should read and hopefully understand. And if they're doing
Yes.
a finance class or something like that, would be outstanding. So,
Yes. I mean, I've heard that thrown around, but never really had any thought it had like a personal application other than I should, yeah,
right, and
like,
that's been the reason to hold gold is to,
yes,
you
yes.
know, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like how many years we got zero interest dividends on our savings. Really
Hmm.
annoying. Yeah.
Well, you just look at what a dollar bought today versus 5 years
Yeah.
ago versus 20 years
Yes.
ago, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
very cool. Okay, I think we covered that pretty well. I was hoping we'd have more of an answer to like, okay, just hold on until this, and then, like Tim said, it's going to start to rip.
Yeah.
But that
Well, and then people like Michael selling, that's pretty soon there's more supply than demand.
seems like there should be plenty of demand. But yeah, yeah, mm, yeah. I guess we just hang in there is
Yes.
the only thing we can say. So good. Okay. Um, well, we will put that one on the shelf and go from there. Any topics you think we should cover in the future?
Hmm. I'm not very good at that.
Okay. Well, if you think of something, shoot me an email or a text or something, especially if you see
Okay.
something, on CNBC that I don't, watch that regularly, that kind of thing. Um, but or if they, something comes up, all of a sudden they're starting to talk about X, and you're like, what the heck is this? Maybe we need, it's a good one to cover.
Yeah. So I wonder if the whole Sam Bankman-Fried debacle impacted
Oh yeah.
X.
I mean, because things took a dump after that, and
Yes.
yeah, and but the problem with that is that wasn't a crypto problem, that was a greed problem.
Yes, it was.
It
Yes.
just happened in the crypto environment.
Yes.
If he was, working at Chase Bank or whatever, he could have done the same thing, there kind of thing. But
Yes.
anyway, yeah, cool, cool, cool. Okay, we will call it a meeting at that point and get on to our sharing button here. All right. And
Well, thank you, Brad, for doing this month in
no
and month out.
no problem. Yeah. And your questions were great, and our discussion before we even started the recording was good too. So Yeah, our pizza meeting is in 2 weeks on the 23rd, and then I'm kind of realizing that okay, summer's just about over. It's like
Yes, it
what
is.
happened? But then we'll just keep on trucking into September into the fall and go from there.